One day, the Bhagwan, upon the invitation of King Prasenajit, accompanied by many of his disciples, proceeded to the palace. Only Ānanda, among the disciples, having received a special invitation from another family, went alone and entered the city of Shrivasti. After he had received offerings from his host, Ānanda set out on the way of return. While walking on the road, he became very thirsty. As he passed by the side of a large lake, he saw a young girl who was from the caṇḍālas, the untouchable caste, drawing water from a well.
Venerable one, I am a person of low birth.
Young sister, I am a monk. In my heart, I do not make any distinctions between the high-born and the low-born.
The young girl, overjoyed by the repeated request, drew the pure water from the well and presented it to him. Ānanda drank the water slowly and, having finished, he departed. But the noble features of Ānanda and his gentle words made a deep impression on the young girl. She fell in love with Ānanda. Returning home, she made a request to her mother, who was adept at magic.
Please invite the sage Ānanda to this house.
Daughter, my magic cannot be applied to those who have gotten away from greed or to those who are dead. In particular, the master of this sage, Gautama, is a personage of high virtue. Because he is highly respected by King Prasenajit, if I have the sage brought here through my magic, all of us of the caṇḍāla caste may be killed.
But the heart that was consumed by love could not be stopped. The young girl cried, saying, "There is only one path left, I shall die." The mother, at her wit's end, finally decided to accede to her daughter's wish. In one room of the house she put some cow excrement on the dirt floor and piled some white Congo grass on top. She lighted it and threw 108 lotus petals into the raging flames, and at each throwing in of a lotus petal, she prayed to the gods of earth and of heaven.
Have the sage Ānanda brought to this house.
At this time, strangely, Ānanda, his mind confused, staggered into the house of the young girl. He was greeted with great joy by the mother and daughter, who were burning incense and scattering flowers. He sat on a beautiful cushion, but he became afraid, like one who is suddenly awakened from a dream, and he single-mindedly called on the power of the Bhagwan to help him escape this difficult situation. At this time the Bhagwan, who had returned to the Jita Grove from the palace of King Prasenajit, knew instantly of the danger that beset Ānanda and recited a verse.
If the lake of precepts is pure, the defilements of people will be washed away. Those with wisdom, entering this lake, will clear the darkness of ignorance forever. This is uttered equally by the sages of the three worlds. Please have my disciple return to me immediately.
Because of the power of the Bhagwan, Ānanda was able to leave the house of the young girl and return to the Jita Grove.
The sage has left.
And so saying she spent the night crying. The next day, Ānanda was on an alms-receiving mission at a certain place, when the young girl, wearing a new dress adorned with a corsage and a necklace, stood waiting for him. She followed Ānanda wherever he went, like a moth that is attracted by a flame. If he stopped, she stopped, if he proceeded, she proceeded. They went outside the castle walls and returned to the Jita Grove, and the young girl never let Ānanda out of her sight. Ānanda felt embarrassed and ashamed. He went immediately into the presence of the Bhagwan and pleaded for help.
Do not worry.
Comforting Ānanda, and, turning to the young girl, uttered these words to her.
If you wish to become the wife of Ānanda, go see your parents and obtain their permission.
The young girl greatly rejoiced, returned to her home, and soon came back into the Bhagwan's presence accompanied by her parents. The Bhagwan addressed the young girl.
O maiden, in order to become the wife of Ānanda you must become a nun and enter the Sangha.
And the young girl with great reverence acceded to the Buddha's words.
It is well, it is well.
He had her shave off her tresses and put on the robes of a nun. Seeing that the thoughts of the young girl had finally become calm, the Bhagwan said to her.
O maiden, passion and greed are the sources of suffering, their flavor is very short-lived, and their pitfalls are many. Like a moth that flies around a burning light, the foolish person throws his body into the burning flame of lust. A wise person is different, he gets away from greed and lust, and thoughts of passion do not arise.
Hearing these teachings of the Buddha, the young girl's mind became quiet and tranquil, and she was able to get away from all her bondages. She attained the state of awakening and was restored to a state of calm. She came to be called the Mātaṅgī nun.